portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A startling revelation made regarding the laws for candidates seeking public office recently. The debate has intensified recently over conflict of interest and failure to declare assets by members of parliament and cabinet ministers. But as we hear tonight in this report from Clint Watson, the majority, if not all of the sitting members of the House, may be guilty of breaking the law.
It appears that after close examination of the Parliamentary Elections Act regarding the declaration of candidates' assets, many, according to Parliamentary Commissioner Sherlyn Hall, have not been following the law.
In fact, Section 37, 1A states that the candidate must declare his assets, that of his spouse, and his children, if any. That's what the law says.
In fact, you may be surprised just how many people running for office to date have actually complied with the law.
If truth be told, the record in our files will show that over the years, most candidates, maybe all candidates, have just focused on the assets of themselves. Very few, if any, have provided anything on their wives.
Or husbands.
Or husbands, yes. So most of the nominations that we've received over the years, nomination papers, assets and liabilities, focus on the candidate himself or herself.
Hall admits that the enforcement of this law has left much to be desired. He notes that once all of the documents are received from the returning officer on nomination day, they are forwarded to his office and published the following day. At no point is there scrutiny of the information submitted to determine whether the information is true or accurate.
To be honest with you, this office does not really police like a witch hunt on people whether they spoke the truth or not. That's not our function. We follow the act, we receive all the documents as presented, and we publish them. Now, if there are any untrue or misleading information, I believe, I stand to be corrected, that the onus might be on the Attorney General's office to perhaps further look into the matters of that nature. But we do not do no further investigation ourselves.
Presently, the Act only speaks to challenging a person's eligibility on nomination day. As for challenging a candidate that's been duly elected and holding office, he says that again would fall under the jurisdiction of the Attorney General's office. Hall believes that the Act and other election laws may need updating regarding this process.
Nothing is written in stone. There's always room for improvements because issues may arise from time to time that the Act specifically did not cover. So in terms of updating, there are always room for improvements. Recently this year, there was a slight amendment to the Act to provide telephone numbers to the Register of the Supreme Court under the jury list, etc. In 2012, we also had further amendments to allow for overseas voting. So yes, there may be good reasons for the Act to be amended as current issues arise.
Now, in addition to the declaration and takes place at nomination, the law also provides room for persons in Parliament to get up in Parliament and declare assets if there becomes an issue of conflict regarding their businesses and a contract with government. Some parliamentarians have actually used this as a way out. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Representatives from the Caribbean Congress of Labor, the International Labor Organization, and the Caribbean Employers Confederation participated in a one-day meeting to address challenges to labor in the region. The meeting is part of a $2 million three-year program funded by the European Union designed to strengthen the civil involvement of Caribbean Forum or CARIFORUM countries. It also allows them to play a stronger role shaping regional policies. Minister of State for National Security, the Honorable Keith Bell, gave the keynote address.
Expected outcomes include 1. Ensuring that CARICOM's social and economic policies are influenced through Caribbean Congress of Labor and Caribbean Employers Confederation and having a recognized status quo. 2. Guaranteeing that the various legislative models are in place to enable harmonization. 3. Securing the proper alignment of educational outcomes with the need of the labor market. And fourthly, pledging that employers, organizations, and trade unions play their role in the implementation, governance, and monitoring of the effects of the European Partnership Agreement's Social Aspects Charter.
Chief Executive Officer of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Edison Sumner, says it's important for employers, workers' representatives, and government representatives to get together and discuss ways of building capacity throughout the region. He says it would help to develop better relationships between the employer and employees.
To go through issues involving industrial disputes, etc., between the worker and the employer, and having to take those disputes into the streets as we've seen so many times in the past. Now we have the opportunity through fora like this one and through the social partnerships and dialogue to take these matters into the boardroom where we can discuss them properly, find resolutions to them, and be able to move forward.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Delta Airlines is set to increase the non-stop flights from their Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport to Georgetown Exuma. The airline moves from 3 flights per week to daily service. The new schedule takes effect on December 19th. In other business news, Grand Bahama gained media attention and audience exposure through playing host to the popular television show Extreme Weight Loss. The ABC television show, now in its 5th season, shot 2 episodes on Grand Bahama. The first airs today. The island is the backdrop to several physical challenges in which cast members will participate in their overall quest to lose extreme weight levels. Grand Lucayan Beach and Golf Resort and the Bahamas Film and Television Commission partnered with the show's producers to identify breathtaking and exciting locations for the show. The episodes will take viewers to scenic ocean and landscapes in Freeport and other areas of Grand Bahama. And in international news, the American stock market has surrendered a stunning $2.1 trillion of value in the last 6 days of market chaos. The enormous losses reflect the deep fears gripping markets about how the world economy will fare amid a deepening economic slowdown in China. The Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ have all tumbled into correction territory, their first such 10% decline from a recent high since 2011. The S&P 500, the best barometer for the biggest U.S. companies, has lost trillions of market value. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.
Today marks the 15th anniversary of the death of the nation's first Prime Minister, the late Right Honorable Sir Lyndon Pinling. This morning, his widow, Governor General Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pinling, placed a wreath at his mausoleum at the St. Agnes Cemetery on Nassau Street. The man, considered the father of the modern Bahamas, passed away in 2000 at the age of 70. He led the Bahamas into majority rule in 1967, as well as independence in 1973 as leader of the Progressive Liberal Party. He was Prime Minister from 1967 to 1992. Under Sir Lyndon, a number of key institutions were created, including the National Insurance Board and the Royal Bahamas Defence Force.
If Sir Lyndon were here today, he'd be very saddened to see the lack of love we display amongst one another. The anger, considering all of the hard work that was put into building our Bahamas. But we leave this place this morning knowing that there is hope. All is not lost. And I would like to say thank you again for coming, and may his soul continue to rest in eternal peace.
This was a day when tens of thousands of Bahamians were moved to learn that their first Prime Minister had passed away, and the country had a spontaneous outpouring of grief. It united us all because we knew that a champion had passed, someone who stood for the ordinary man. And it is for that reason that we are here today, to remember him and remember his great contribution to the founding of this country and all of its institutions.
As back to school approaches, a community-minded group is preparing students to get on the ball. In Exuma, they're building a library and a love of reading. Keishla Adley tells us how BTC is involved in tonight's BTC Island Connection.
tree lesson is not dead in the Berry Islands. But this isn't your grandmother's classroom.
One thing I brag about normally when I travel to Nassau and having spent some time in Miguana, I said everything is better in the Berries, even the cell phone network, everything is much better here.
Principal of the R.N. Gomez All-Age School, Brian Williams, proudly declares here at his school, the internet is everywhere.
We go back to borders and we do what? Top border.
Here, computer studies are a major part of the curriculum. Internet access, powered by BTC, allows the computer to continue where teachers leave off.
As a result of the relationship we have with BTC, the entire school, we have the wireless network, they assist us with that, and it has helped a whole lot. We're able to, the students are able to definitely complete a lot of the work because some of them don't have access to the internet at home. So as a result of us having that here on the campus, it assists them with completing the work in the afternoon after school, during break, during lunchtime. They're able to sit in here in the computer lab or in any room.
And if you ever wanted an example of island connection in education, well, here it is.
There's a website Student Shared, and we were in here about a week and a half ago prepping some students for BGCSE, and they were able to log right online and look at some past papers and ask questions of persons in New Providence. They were asking, okay, we're having a challenge with this particular topic in biology, and they were able to go right online, start right in here, went online and got some assistance from persons in New Providence.
It's proof that under the tree doesn't mean out of the loop. Keishla Adderley for the BTC Island Connection.